At least 10 Palestinians have died of malnutrition in the past 24 hours in Gaza, according to the territory's Hamas-run health ministry. More than 100 aid agencies have warned that civilians are wasting away as mass starvation spreads across the enclave. Israel, which controls all supplies entering Gaza, denies it is responsible for shortages of food.
This is baby Sila. Despite being 11 months old, she weighs just 4 kilograms, meaning she's only slightly above the average birth weight of a baby in Ireland. Sila, like a growing number of children in Gaza, is severely malnourished, according to doctors.
The problem that her mother was starved and she was complaining from severe malnutrition and she was unable to give her breastfeeding. And also the mother didn't found any formula or milk to give it for Sila. So Sila, as we can see, Sila now is complaining from severe acute malnutrition.
Today, more than 100 aid organisations, including Doctors Without Borders and Save the Children, have warned that mass starvation is spreading across the enclave. They're calling for an immediate ceasefire, the opening of all land crossings and the free flow of aid.
There's nothing, they cannot feed their children, they see their children dying and getting sick every day. And we can see that like among our own staff today who cannot have access to food because there is no food.
Israel, which controls all supplies entering Gaza, denies it is responsible for shortages of food.
In Gaza today, there is no famine caused by Israel. There is, however, a man-made shortage engineered by Hamas.
The United States has said its Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff will travel to Europe this week for talks on the next steps towards securing a ceasefire. For Palestinians, however, hope is in short supply as day-to-day survival becomes ever more difficult. Kate Varley, RTE News.
Well, let's cross over to New York now, where Yvonne Murray joins us from the United Nations. Yvonne, Gaza was on the Security Council agenda today. Is there a sense the pressure is mounting on Israel at this stage?
Well, it is definitely, Sharon. Here today at the Security Council, the meeting is actually ongoing. It's likely to go on all day. And so far, we've heard widespread condemnation from the 15 members of the body, including today, because it's a high-level meeting, many government ministers who've come here today. Darragh O'Brien, the Minister of Transport, is here among them. The Palestinian envoy, Riyad Mansour, asked what the Council should tell the children of Gaza as they watch them die of thirst and hunger. The Algerian envoy said that the US and Israel-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation should be dubbed the Gaza Hunger Foundation. And he said that Israel was engaged in an attempt to wipe out the roots of the Palestinian people. Even the UK, a country traditionally much closer to Israel, said that the new aid system was ineffective, inhumane, dangerous and fueling instability. But Israel and the US today holding their line, saying that the Security Council should focus their attentions on Hamas. And crucially, we heard the Israeli ambassador Danny Danon confirming that Israel would be ejecting the head of the UN Gaza humanitarian mission from the region, and that they would be restricting the visas of other UN staff. And this really is crucial now for the UN and the international community. It's very clear that Israel is intent on sidelining the UN agencies that are supported by the international community, including countries like Ireland. And as we move into next week now, with the conference due to take place here on the two-state solution, that will be the question, what the UN community and what the international community does about the UN being actively sidelined.
Global security reporter Yvonne Murray from New York. Thank you. Now, as you heard earlier in the programme, over 100 aid agencies have issued a warning of mass starvation spreading across Gaza. Just before coming on air, I spoke to Antoine Reynard, the country director for Palestine of the World Food Programme. He's in East Jerusalem. I began by asking him about the challenges to the delivery of aid today.
Currently, the situation in Gaza is that you've got 2.1 million people that are totally dependent on humanitarian assistance. The food security situation is such that you've got more than 80% of the population that has a very poor access to food. And that's why currently the situation is so dire in terms of food security and why you have a spread of starvation within the Gaza Strip. From the World Food Programme, we do have food that is coming on platforms that are just at the border within Gaza. But the biggest challenge that we have is that the situation is so chaotic within Gaza that to move food from this platform to population continue to be a real challenge. I give you a simple example. 2 days ago, just to move 19 trucks, it took us more than 20 hours. We had to wait practically 9 hours to be screened, to actually manage to get on the platform and then come back. And the people are actually so eager to access food that the moment our convoys are coming, directly people are taking the food from the trucks. We do not arrive directly to our distribution point and be able to restart our regular operation.
We have seen images of people searching in rubbish for food and scooping up the last remaining grains from pots. What is the scarcity of aid doing to the price of food?
Just as we speak, 1 kg of wheat flour is around $100. To give you an idea, during the ceasefire and prior to conflict, the same kg of wheat flour was around $1.5. So you have a population that has no access to cash. They are not in capacity. The scarcity is so high that you have people that are risking their life and some of them losing their life around some of our convoys just to manage to grab a bit of wheat flour. So the prices, the current chaos actually is also adamant that the humanitarian are able to go at scale, that we do not take so many hours to bring the goods in, that is being facilitated. We need to continue to do this advocacy. We can make it happen. And a ceasefire is so important that we can actually resort to the program that we used to do in January.
As a result of the lack of aid, we've seen over 100 aid agencies issue a joint letter today saying that mass starvation is spreading in Gaza. In response to that, Israel has criticised what it called false warnings of famine from aid agencies. What do you say to that?
When I see that the population is rushing on any of our convoys at the risk of their life, I can tell you and confirm to you that the situation is among one of the most horrific that I've seen in terms of people accessing. Now, where we need to see a light at the end of the tunnel, the ceasefire that is long overdue, we believe that it has to happen. We owe that to the population that is in Gaza. As humanitarian, we have been part of a solution when the ceasefire was up and running on the 19th of January. We believe that we can make it happen. What we continue to do now is advocate, push that there's more food into Gaza while we are still waiting for this long overdue ceasefire.
Antoine Reynard of the World Food Programme, thank you for speaking to us this evening.
Thank you so much to you.